Hey y'all, it's Miss Katie here on Wednesday at our lunch live, but it's not live. So, you know, it's lunch live and 11 to 11:40. So, but this is my first premiere, and I'm here with my friend Sis. Y'all know Sis now.
Hey.
Y'all know Tiffany,
Hey,
and
everybody.
this is Pat. I met Pat. Well, it's Micah's birthday, back in the winter. And so we are here today. I'm going to turn the camera around. This is a little different from a regular video because this has the feeling a little bit more of a live, but this is what we could manage. We are going to talk today about foraging, and we're going to take a walk around the yard, and Pat and Sis are going to tell us all kinds of things, what they can do with different things in the yard. The number one thing, let's make sure we tell them, spray free, right?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
And
No
does
sprays.
it need to be like so long, like however many years? Like if they move into a house this fall or spring, is it okay if they start eating from the yard?
It depends on the layout. Like if it's overgrown, then that's fine. If you go to a yard or buy a house and the yard is manicured well, and
good point. Okay.
and it just looks immaculate or whatever, so I would wait. I would
Okay.
wait. But if it's overgrown, like when we bought our property, everything was overgrown.
So you knew it
was in
wasn't
the organic,
sprayed.
right? It was in its
Okay.
most natural organic state, so we didn't have to worry about dealing with any sprays or anything like that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, so we're doing this premiere. Y'all can ask questions during this premiere, and these two ladies are going to help you and answer the questions. Plantain Valley.
This is Plantain Valley.
Is this plantain too?
Yes, this is the
You know what?
plantain
I've never-
leaf. I mean, the plantain seed. You can
Okay.
actually grow. You can harvest them.
Okay.
You just kind of strip it off like this, and if you wanted to seed out, you just, but you can harvest it and you can make flour, plantain flour.
So you can make flour, but that's a lot of collecting.
It's a whole bunch of collecting, and these are banana leaf plantain,
Okay.
and behind these are these serum veins, and these veins right here have natural healing serum in them. So you can take this off. We call this the miracle weed, and if you get a cut or open wound, even like a gash, you make a spit poultice. It's a bitter weed, but you find like a younger tender one, but if you don't, just rip one off, put it in your mouth, chew it up. You put that poultice, put it out your mouth, take it out your mouth, put the poultice on the sore.
Okay.
And what it does is it's a Band-Aid for your arm. So compared to you putting a store-bought antibiotic on it, your wound will actually be healing within that period of time that the plantain is on there. So it heals faster.
And I've seen that work
Yes.
myself on somebody. We were at a friend's in Arkansas, and I've actually seen that work. So that's true.
Okay, so
But
it's
now
two
this right
types
here,
of
though.
plantain.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the broadleaf plantain. And the broadleaf, we go get this spider web on out the way. Okay.
All right. That's cute.
So the broadleaf plantain has the same veins. This one is a bit more bitter than the banana leaf. Both of them are bitter. That's why they call them bitter weeds.
Okay.
This is a bitter herb.
And that's good for us. All those bitters.
It sure is. And you can actually do the same thing as the banana leaf, but you can also harvest these and dehydrate them. They'll still perform, they'll still do what God created them to do, but you can make poultice out of this from the powder, and I've done that too. People with mouth sores, you can smash it, and you can put it in your mouth and just let it sit in there. And you could actually feel it. Sometimes it's like a little burning sensation, but it's doing what the serum is adhering to the inside of your mouth.
Even after you've dried this?
Even after you can eat it raw. Yeah, you can.
I mean, like in the winter. See, that'd be a reason for drying it,
you can
right?
dry it. Yep.
Okay.
In the winter, you can put it in smoothies. You can put it in.
Oh, superfood.
Yep. It's a superfood.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
Because there's dandelion.
This is
right?
dandelion. Yes. You know what dandelion does.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yes. What does dandelion do, Katie?
Well, it's good for the liver.
Amen.
It's cleaning out. Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
a
what else can you
detoxifier.
tell us about how to use it and what it's for?
Pat, you want to chime in?
Yes, please.
Yeah, the root of the dandelion is really good for, it's like a tonic. It's really healing to the body. So it's good for digestive issues. It stimulates bowel, which you need. It's very important.
Yes.
But the leaf is a diuretic. And the French name for it, which I don't know how to pronounce, but it means piss in bed.
Okay. Okay. There you
Because
go.
it is a diuretic.
Okay.
And everybody, you know, there's an interesting story. My mom told me when she was a young girl that in the springtime they would actually harvest the leaves and eat them. And that's kind of funny to me because I've seen dandelion at Whole Foods for like $4 and $5.
Oh,
and you know,
yes.
this is real healing food that we have in our yards. And like Tiffany was saying, you know, and people spray it and they don't realize that this is free
Medicine.
right
Yeah.
in your yard.
Free medicine. I love that. You're right.
It is.
It is.
You're right. So, okay, the leaf is a diuretic.
Right.
And the root is more of a
tonic.
tonic or a, okay, so, all right, so what would you do with this if somebody, you would pull up the whole thing, the root and the leaf?
And how you would pull up the root is you don't pull it because those roots are so rooted in the ground. You need to like dig it out and go deep and deep, and that root is long.
It's a tap root.
It's a
isn't it?
tap
Yes.
root. Yep. It's very, very long.
All right, so, I'm
Yep.
sorry, excuse me.
And most herbalists like to harvest it. You know, some harvest in this, most harvest in the fall.
Oh, in the
Yeah,
fall.
In the fall.
Okay.
The root.
The root
Yes,
in the
the root.
fall.
So you
Okay.
harvest these in different seasons. Absolutely.
And you know,
That's a
just
good
really
point.
quickly jumping back to the plantain, it's one of my favorite herbs because it's such a simple herb. But like you, I had an experience with it. Years ago, I was at a garage sale and something bit me and I was like, oh, I didn't even see what it was, right? But it stung and I had a little raised bump. And this lady had some plantain on the side of her garage. So I'm like, oh. And because it hurt. And I threw it on my arm. And I kid you not, by the time I got home, it was gone. And I was like,
And that's how plantain works. It works fast. My dog busted her head. Busted her head, and you could see the flesh. I mean, the flesh, the meaty part. And I had to be somewhere in 30 minutes. And I'm like, okay, Lord, what can I give to my dog? I don't have time to take her to the vet. And my son said, Mom, plantain, plantain.
Oh, good.
So he jumped out the car, really chewed it up. He chewed it up really fast. Put it on that spot, that gash that she had in her head. We were gone 45 minutes. I lie to you not. The brain fluid, that was gone. It had sealed up. By the end of the week, her gash was closed up and hair was already growing on it.
Wow. Praise
Now we
God
had-
for
yeah.
his healing.
Amen.
Free medicine.
yeah.
Yep.
It's an astringent, so
Yes.
it tightens things. So that's why it does that. And it's also good for plantain, also good for digestive
Yes.
issues.
Yep.
I had an ulcer, and that was one of the things I used was plantain. Well, make it into a tea. And you know, sometimes we think of things that are astringent just being for our skin, you know, the outside of you. But you know, your digestive system is kind of like, you know,
I've never
skin-
really
it's-
thought about that.
right.
You're
It's-
absolutely right. I think before we forget, we need to go on because we need to disclaim here that we are not medical professionals,
No
and
way.
we are
Exactly.
only giving
way.
our personal opinions, and this is educational purposes only.
Right.
Yes.
And we're not to be held liable
Account,
for
no.
anything, and they should seek the advice of their medical professional of their choosing, whether it's homeopathic physician or allopathic physician. So
Absolutely.
let's make that
Do
clear.
your own
right.
research.
Okay,
Do
do
your
your own
research. Do your
research.
research.
Absolutely. And furthermore, honestly, there are some herbs that I can't name any, but can be confusing. Like they have a poisonous counterpart.
Right.
And
right.
so, absolutely do your own research.
Yes.
So, yes. All right. Do we have anything else here?
Yes, we have the wild strawberry.
Okay.
Now, for years, I was told that this is poisonous.
I was too.
I was too.
And one of my favorite places that I buy herbs from, they did a preview on this. And they explained it is not poisonous. And so I don't know all of the specifics, so that's where you all need to do your research. But these edible these wild strawberries are not poisonous.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've come out and you've eaten those?
Yes, I've eaten them. They don't have any flavor to them.
Okay.
You got to put that in your head. Pretend like you're eating a, right. Imagine you eating a sweet strawberry. Just put it. It might not be there, but y'all pretend, okay?
Yeah, we can
Y'all
do
can't
that.
be too grown not to pretend.
No, this is what I'm smelling right here. The purple flowers. You want to talk about that?
These are
Isn't that purple dead
purple
nettle?
dead nettle.
is.
Yeah,
I'm
dead
not
nettle.
purple dead
It
nettle.
is. This is
Purple
purple
dead
dead nettle. Pat knows more about that. Yes.
Right? Can you tell us anything about that? Or?
I've just learned about purple dead nettle this year, so I'm not sure if it has the same properties as stinging nettle, which is also a just good all-around tonic, especially for people that suffer with iron deficiency anemia.
Okay.
But that's one that I have to do some more research on. Like I said, I don't know if it has the same properties, but I know that it's good as a pot herb, and when it's tender in the spring especially, it's good to mix in the salads. So it is edible.
I don't know anything about it either, but I do have a friend on Instagram actually, and she's studying to be an herbalist, and anyway, she goes out and uses purple dead nettle, but that's where my knowledge stops.
So a lot of the herbs, like the purple dead nettle, that is an anti-inflammatory.
Okay.
And
we all need that.
Yes, and dealing with bacteria, antibacterial, and the majority of the plantains are the same way too. So that they help with inflammation in our body, and the majority of the world has leaky gut. And
I've just read a lot about that.
Yeah, leaky
absolutely.
gut. So anybody dealing with gout, anybody dealing with any type of arthritis, any type of inflammation in your body, 9 times out of 10 is coming from the improper bacteria, bad bacteria in your stomach. You need to balance it with a good bacteria, and a lot of the edible weeds in your garden or in your yard can do that. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else here before we move on?
Oh, the clover.
What about the
Yes,
clover?
the clover. Absolutely.
Okay. This is the white clover then.
Yes.
Is that the official name, or is that? I know there's red clover.
Trifolium something. That's the
Okay.
red clover. I don't know if the white has the same name.
It smells so good and fresh right here.
It
Just,
does.
just everything's
I love
just
that
so good and
smell.
fresh. Yeah. So the white clover, other than making pretty little necklaces and halos.
Yeah. What is it good for?
Now the clover, that's good for what is it? Whoop whooping cough.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's a diuretic too. It helps with inflammation.
The flowers or the leaves?
Actually, the flowers.
Okay.
The flowers helps with that, and you can make cough syrup from those. You can harvest
the
them
white?
From the white,
Okay.
yes. And I heard you can do it from the red too.
Yeah.
The crimson. That's what they call them, the crimson red
okay.
clover.
Okay.
And also you can make flour, clover flour, from the
Just dehydrate it and grind it?
yep, that's it.
Or powder it or whatever?
Powder it. You can put clover in your smoothies. Clover is good for menopause. It's good for any type of female issues. What else? Clover is good for, it's a vast number of things that clover can work for in your body. And new things are being discovered dealing with the bitter weeds. Yeah.
You find that's a pretty common one you can find in tea bags in the grocery store. Clover,
Yep.
so that's good.
Yep.
Red clover is good for red blood cells. So,
Okay.
all right. What else? Where are we headed?
We are going to head around the yard.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you got some romaine lettuce.
Yeah, we pulled the
How
seeds.
about that?
We pulled the seeds yesterday. I mean, not yesterday. We pulled the seeds in the
Say
fall.
yesterday. Let me get some.
Miracle seeds for sale. And Leonardo noticed these,
Wow.
and they
Wow.
they just
Awesome.
seeded right here. So I'm just leaving them.
Awesome. Yes.
Absolutely.
Look at that. What is that? Right there? I love bok choy. Now, do you know what I did the other day? Not the other day. It was 3 weeks ago. I took the bulb or whatever from the store-bought bok choy and planted it and now I've got a lot of it.
Yes.
So just
Wow.
don't throw away your trash. Your
Right.
compost.
Yeah.
Eat,
You
eat your compost.
Eat your compost, and you could put it in some water, and it'll root. just
Well, I
like
did
in a
that for
matter of
starters,
days.
and then I planted it.
Okay.
So, all right, take us where we're going then.
Let's see. We can go to the grape leaves.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm not familiar with. I know one thing you can do with grape leaves. So let's see what you say. Let me get my son right over here.
Yeah, me too, Katie. I wonder if we're thinking the same thing. The stuffed grape leaves, that's all I know.
Now, well, that too. You put a grape leaf or an oak leaf in when you're pickling pickles, and it makes them crisp.
Oh,
It causes them to be crisp.
I didn't
A
know
grape leaf or an oak leaf.
that.
Okay.
But I forgot about the stuffed grape leaves, Pat. I
Yeah,
forgot
those are
about
good.
that.
So I'm gonna stand back here.
You know what? I don't care for them. I've tried
Yeah.
them. I've tried them, but I don't care for.
I don't care for grape leaves either.
Here, let me get over here because
Okay.
of the sun, and then you can. All right.
Yeah, I don't care for the grape leaves either, but they are beneficial, and it might be one time in my life that I actually do something with the grape leaves. I just like the fruit that hangs on it. But grape leaves, they're good for iron.
Okay.
They're a source of iron, vitamin A and C, and they have flavonoids in them. They're good for an appetizer. They'll protect you from. Now, I did hear this from some of my friends that are from the different countries, Israel, but they eat grape leaves if there are any digestive issues, if there are any type of sicknesses going on in their body. The grape leaf, they ingest it.
Like okay.
That's-
So, what are you saying? Pick it off and just chomp on it?
Well, no, you can pick it off and you steam it.
Okay.
Yeah, you steam
Like
it like a
spinach or
green.
something.
Yeah,
Like
Green.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and you can also you can ferment them.
Mm.
You can really ferment them, and it's so the leaf is really the fibrous part of it is really tough. It's really tough. So doing it, soaking it, or fermenting it actually breaks it down a little bit
Okay.
and helps you digest it. And it'll be the same process if you made stuffed leaves. You would just steam it.
Yeah, I'm thinking I didn't care for the texture
Me
of
neither.
the stuffed leaves.
Yeah,
it
me
was
neither.
very fibrous, and I didn't care for it.
Yeah, me neither.
And then y'all, of course, don't forget you can even use the grapevines to make yourself some wreaths or
Yes.
something for the house. Somebody told me about cleavers the other day,
Oh, really?
and I hadn't heard anything about it except leave it to Beaver. I didn't know anything about cleavers except,
Okay, I don't have my glasses.
all of this is cleavers right here.
okay. Oh, that's the
Okay,
stuff you
I
throw
see it
on
now.
people and
Yeah,
it sticks
this is
on
what
them.
she threw on me.
Okay. Yes, cleavers is a new herb for me, and I like it because one of the properties is it's good for the lymph, so it's a lymph tonic.
Oh.
And you know, the lymph, it's unlike our heart. It doesn't. What's the word? We need to actively make the lymph move.
It doesn't have a pump system.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so we do that with exercise and movement. And so cleavers is good because it helps to facilitate the movement of the lymph. And I have some in some vodka right now that I'm tincturing. And I've also, I have a friend that has cancer. And so I use the cleavers in her juicing. And it doesn't have a bad flavor. I mean, I drink it myself. So I like to use it in juicing. So that's what I've used this for so far in
Let's see
juices.
if I can get a close. It's got these little balls.
And it sticks to
See.
your
It
clothes.
sticks to you. Let's see if
So
it'll
it
stick.
cleaves.
Yep.
That's how
Hence
we
the
can
name.
Cleaves to you.
Cleave. Let's not leave it to
Let's
Beaver.
see if
folks.
it'll
This
still
is
stick
Cleavers.
to us.
Okay,
I mean,
now.
and you
and
can
it's-
feel it. It has a.
Yes,
Yeah, that
I know what you're
stickiness on
talking
there.
about. Yes.
Yeah, and it's a diuretic. It helps for indigestion.
You know, can I just say, all these things that we grew up, it's beautiful, sis. All these things that we grew up with, I mean, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I've grown up with that stuff, and I didn't
Right.
know.
And you
Yeah.
trying to get, we call it the
Healthy.
sticky weed or
You know,
something like
whatever,
that. And
you
you're
just
trying
pull
to
it up and
just,
try to get rid of it.
and then when it sticks to you,
didn't
you
know.
just spreading it.
yeah,
just
you
spread
got seeds, you got it all over.
Available
Okay.
year around. It's okay because this is.
Yeah, but I did hear, again, my same friend on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
it's My Real Natural Life, Nancy, lives not
okay,
far
My
from
Real
where we're
Natural
standing
Life.
right now, about an hour and a half away, and she's studying, and I learned that from her. So I love how we can learn from each other.
Right.
do too.
And cleavers is just like
You
any
got some
other.
flavor all over
Girl, I
you.
like my
Yes,
cleavers. I'm
It's
styling and
cleaving.
profiling.
Yes.
Right, it's cleaving. And it's good for burns and wounds and skin irritations. Cleavers is another diverse weed that would just bless you.
Okay, Pat, how do you, so you put just that whole plant in the
I put
juice?
the whole thing in the juice.
And then when
I
you're
chop it, I chop it up
Okay.
and just throw the whole thing into the juice.
Is somebody? I can't see.
He's
Is he
leaving.
leaving?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's nice to meet you.
Bye, Daddy.
All right. So in your tincture, is that something simple enough you can kind of tell us what you're doing with that vodka?
I just chop up the tincture, chop up the cleavers, and now this is fresh, and then I just cover it with vodka. I mean, that's the very simple method. That's the folk method of tincturing. But then there are other herbalists that'll use Everclear alcohol, and they'll mix that with water. There's a certain percentage depending on the weed you use. But I just try to keep it really simple, and I'll just chop it up, put it in a jar, a mason jar, and just cover it with vodka and let it sit 4 to 6 weeks. Strain it, bottle it, label. It's ready to go.
How do you use it then?
You can use it just if say you're having a cold or any kind of things where there's some lymph stagnation, and then you would just take however many drops, maybe 3 times a day, just depending on what symptoms you're having. And the thing about herbs, we're so used to say Tylenol, take 2 every 4 hours, but herbs aren't like that, because everybody is different, right? And so I may be okay with 30 drops of a tincture. You might need 40. Tiffany may need 50. My daughter may need 20. And so there's a method called, I think it's called titrate or titrate. And what you do is you start with the smallest dose, and you work your way up until your body says, okay, this is, I need 30 drops. And then that's my level. So that's the other thing I like about herbs.
It's almost like a bowel tolerance.
Yeah, right,
It's
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
a body
And I know
tolerance.
what you're saying to be true because of the homeopathic lady we use, and she will recommend something based on testing, and the bottle might say you need 20. In fact, this happened with Little Music Man the other day, because he takes some tinctures that she prescribed, and he's been taking 8 drops, and he came out to me, he said, Mom, we've been doing it all wrong. The bottle says 20. I said, no, we hadn't, because the test that she did showed his body needed 8. So yes, I know what you're talking
Gotcha.
about as far as that goes. So yeah, working up to it. So
Yeah,
that's
and then
great.
the
That's great to know.
MGs, what is the MGs on the capsules? Some people think it's milligrams and it's micrograms.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
see,
that
I
makes a
didn't know
huge
that. Yeah,
difference. The
it
micro
does.
and milli are two totally different things.
Is that what that is? Banana leaves? Right there?
Yeah, those
Some
mi-
people wrap, they eat those too, but I just can't.
Yeah,
I
you
can't.
can
I
cook in the
just-
ground with these.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that's what I've seen.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
awesome. Here we go.
these are the raspberry leaves. The raspberry leaves, these are used for premenstrual if you have female issues with your period, and they're used for your uterine wall when you're in labor, and so it will help you. It will help your labor pains, pretty much.
Again, do your research.
Yes, do your research.
Don't take our word for it.
Don't
but
take
yes.
our word for it. It has helped me. I'll use myself. It has helped me. My midwife gave me red clover, and it helped me with my labor pains.
Red raspberry, not clover.
I mean red raspberry. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
And then, but you also, you have do your research so that you can know how to take it, because everybody's body does not need the same amount of herbs, in them. And then, of course, the fruit is delicious.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fruit is delicious,
course.
and you can actually dry this leaf out. You can dry it out, and you can make it into a powder. And knowing how to make the right amounts of powders is kind of detailed, which takes a lot of studying and research, on how to do that. Me, I'm okay with taking a couple of leaves, whatever, so drying them out, and then I'll take it because it's raspberry, and I'm growing it.
Right.
So, and raspberries grow so fast. So, some people are impatient when it comes to growing a garden, or you can even grow wild weeds. But just be patient, because you know that that's your medicine growing, and try to collect the seeds of that wild weed, and then put it in a bag and label it so that you can continue to grow it on your land, and you know where it's coming from. So I do that a lot. So I just kind of mimic what I have here so that I can have it in abundance, and don't have to worry about going to the grocery store. And I have done my research. So a lot of this knowledge that I have, I've prayed about it, and God has opened up my left side of my brain to help me retain this knowledge and plus more. So I'm a student for life. I'm a student for life.
You know, I've learned a lot about eating leaves I didn't know you could. I've recently learned you can eat sweet potato leaves.
Yep.
What was the other one? There was another one that I didn't. Oh, no, not beet greens. I knew you could eat beet greens.
Oh yeah, those are good.
But sweet potato leaves, I didn't know you could.
Now there are 2 types of sweet potato leaves. It's an edible type and it's a non-edible type.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So.
It's a non-edible type. The ones that does not produce the sweet potatoes is the non-edible. The ones that do produce the sweet potatoes is the edible. So when you're grabbing your sweet potato leaves, always ask, is this edible? Don't just grab them, because we don't want anybody to be poisoned.
No.
And then they'll be like, I looked at the video, they said I could eat the sweet potato leaves. Y'all, do your research.
Do your research. That's what yes.
Do your research.
That's right.
Okay. And, you want to do the honeysuckle?
Somebody has gifted me honeysuckle syrup before, so you can. Yeah, I use it to sweeten some tea, but people make honeysuckle jam or jelly or what have you.
Right here.
So yeah.
Smells so good.
It does.
Now I do know this about honeysuckle. I read something recently that it was I think it said it was as effective as or more effective than elderberries when it comes to flu. Once again, do your research. But I remember reading about honeysuckle and flu, which I thought was really interesting. So that's really about all I know about the honeysuckle, other than its delicious scent.
It is a delicious scent.
And you know, that's right, because honeysuckle you can use it in the flu season. You can use it to build your immunity. You can use it to, and not the green part, but you use
You pick the whole flower, you think, and then what, dehydrate it? I think I have friends who do that.
Yeah, you do that.
You know what? I just thought. I saw in Walmart the other day honeysuckle flower in a package.
Wow.
Really?
And I took a picture. Because I couldn't believe what the price was. I don't remember right now, but it was not cheap.
Yeah.
No,
But
it's
I mean,
not.
you can imagine how many flowers this
to
takes
harvest,
to dry.
Yep. And it takes a lot. And when it dries, if you get 2 handfuls, that's 1 handful.
Oh, wow.
If you get 4 handfuls,
of
that's
flowers,
2.
then
That's 2 handfuls, because it dries up. So, but the benefits of it helps with influenza. It helps with the flu, inflammation.
You just drink it in tea.
You drink it in. You can drink it in tea. Intestinal. If you have intestinal issues, this is another versatile. I don't even want to call it a weed. Just just a beautiful flower. And there are a couple of types of honeysuckle. This is like the native honeysuckle. Vine. This is a vining one. I have a one that vines like this, and this is vining up my house. And then I have one over there that's about that's a bush. They're bushed all in my woods. And then there's one right here that's called a coral honeysuckle.
Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't know what that. What about this? Yeah.
This is dandelion. So this is the size that you want it to grow to, and you will see down here. It's time for it to be pulled. I'll just let mine grow. Sometimes my yard will look like a hot mess, and that's because I'm letting everything grow up. I would love just a tailored looking yard, but that's not me.
Well,
that's just not me.
Not a lot of people these days.
Yeah, it's not me.
To learn.
Yeah, and when I leave things and let them grow in its natural state, you'd be surprised at what you really have on your land. Know what is on your land. And so this root,
that's what you're saying now. If you were to pull on that, it's going to break it
it's
off.
going to break.
We know that.
So you can actually
have to get
see those roots. See that right there? But you have to keep digging and digging and go. But this thing is in there, right? Yeah. So I let my medicine grow up.
Absolutely.
And then I harvest
more
it.
over there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's just all around, and you harvest it. You don't harvest it all at one time. You harvest what you need, and then you let it. You let it continue to grow. A coral honeysuckle, and these are edible also, and they grow just like a wisteria. This is a vining coral honeysuckle. So you can.
I did not know it's a vining coral honeysuckle. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't either until I wrecked my brain 2 years ago when I got this. What is this thing? I thought it was a wisteria, and I was calling it the wrong. Oh, look at the wisteria! And it was all wrong.
Okay, now this you say has the same benefits of yellow honeysuckle.
Yes.
But I bet it's got some different ones as well. Because,
It does.
you know, eat the rainbow kind of thing.
Yes,
You know,
it does.
different colors of.
And this one I'm still doing research on. But anytime you have a hummingbird to feast off of different
then
things
you
like
know.
that, you know that
Follow
it's
his lead.
there you go. Yep. And honeybird, this is my honeybird drawer. Yeah, I actually had a
Hummingbird.
honeybird
Hummingbird.
humming.
Yeah.
I'm trying to mix
know what you mean.
honeysuckle and hummingbird
She's made a new
together.
species.
Y'all, I'm so excited about this.
Honeybird.
But yeah, just to bless you with these type of edible plants and edible flowers and but yeah, the honeysuckle, it draws, it attracts hummingbirds.
Okay.
And so I could just sit
Yes.
on my porch and just watch, you know, the hummingbirds around here. But yes, this is, and you do the same thing. These just come in bales, but when you pull these,
Okay.
take these, and my children love coming to pull out the strings
Sure.
one by one. There you go, a long one.
Yeah.
And it's so sweet.
Yes. Which they're not necessarily going to have growing in their yard, catnip and lemon balm wild, I mean. Like it's not technically considered. Well, I mean, you know, in your standard yard,
And the rose
it's
is
not
edible.
going to be.
Yeah, the roses are edible. Yeah, the
Oh,
catnip.
yeah, roses are too. That's right.
They're very edible.
Okay, so right here's catnip?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
That big old bush is catnip. Not my favorite herb.
It's
now,
not?
catnip really, no lie. This catnip blew in from somewhere.
Well,
And I know it was from heaven. I know it was.
okay.
But it blew in and it started growing on my land. And ooh, that smells so good.
I know I'm rubbing it between my
Oh,
hands.
it smells-
Pat, why is it
Katie
not
got
your
it lit
favorite?
over here.
I know, I'm
I
lighting
don't like
it up.
this. I don't like the smell.
You don't like the smell, okay.
I love lemon balm though.
Yeah, I do
even
too.
though they're in the
This is a
same-
little
same
bit
family.
lemony, though.
It is
Don't you
to you, really?
Yeah, it does have
I
that
do think-
lemony. You can smell the catnip. It might be a lemon catnip. I don't know. I'm just making that up. I'm sorry.
She's making it up. Now we're over here inventing species again.
Okay.
And the
I
catnip.
don't know. Maybe I
The
need
catnip.
to give catnip a chance. I don't know.
Right. Give it a chance.
Give it a
Okay.
chance.
Yeah, catnip
We
is
need
good
t-shirts.
for.
Give catnip a chance.
Yes.
Is
Just
this
throw-
in the mint family?
It is. And you could just throw it at somebody if they're having a bad day.
Oh,
It
come on.
relaxes you. You can make it into a tea. You can dehydrate
Throw it at
it.
somebody, she
Yeah.
says.
Just make it into a tea and just chill.
Here's my favorite
This
of
is your
ever.
chillaxing plant. Oh,
Chillaxing.
rosemary.
Now, again, this is not wild in your yard, so
No,
we're
it's
getting
not.
off topic.
I know.
But
But this is peppermint. That's a little baby
Peppermint.
It just grew up
Wow.
and it said I wanted to grow. Now the story behind the lemon balm, I pulled it. Okay? I pulled the lemon balm. Now the catnip was over here.
okay.
And the catnip and
that
the
smells
lemon
good.
balm, they changed places.
Okay.
So now the catnip is over here and the lemon balm is over here. Now I thought the lemon balm was dead, so I pulled it. And then this is the new growing season, and this is what, and it wasn't here originally.
Okay, it's doing really well,
Yeah, it
and
wasn't
it's
here.
a tea.
Yes.
So what are the benefits of this, Pat?
Okay, you know, it is in the mint family, and
Okay.
the mint family, you know, it's cooling.
Cooling, you said?
It's cooling,
Okay.
so it's a cooling herb. It's good for digestive issues, and I really like lemon balm because I mean sometimes I'll just come up to it and just rub some.
To get the
just
essential
smelling it.
oil.
Yeah,
You're
the
getting
aroma-
oil.
aromatherapy.
Very relaxing.
Very
It's
therapeutic.
very, very relaxing.
Let me get
So
some.
I like it for digestive issues. I like it for relaxation. And the thing, we looked at the catnip, but it's in the mint family too. To me, the lemon balm is more aromatically pleasing. I just don't like
Well,
that.
I do agree with that. It
But
is.
one of the ways you can identify, one of the identifiers of the mint family is it has a square stem.
I noticed the
you know,
catnip did.
yes, it has
so
that
let's
square
point this
stem.
out for somebody who doesn't know. So can you? I don't know.
Yeah,
if my
see
camera
how
can-
you-
Is that square? Can you? Yes.
I mean, it doesn't like roll, you know, I
Okay.
can't roll it between my
I've
fingers.
recently
So
learned that too, but I'm glad you brought that up.
yeah, so that's
Square
one thing that's
stem for the
interesting
mint
about the
family.
mint family.
Interesting.
And it all,
But
it
yeah,
all
that's
looks the
probably-
same until you actually just, you know, when, and with your medicinals, when you are harvesting them, just learn how to harvest your medicinals. Don't just rip them out.
Yeah.
You know, because you can't really like damage the membrane, but it, you know, just be respectful of your own herbs when you are pulling them, or just clip them. And they grow back, because I've clipped this down like 2 times within the last month.
Oh, really?
I've harvested.
Okay.
I gave her some. I've sold some,
they
and then they come up. So when you treat your plants, your medicinals, your herbs, right, they'll treat you right, and they will continuously, you know, flourish for you. So, but yeah, and you just take your time with them. I've learned to take my time with my plants, my garden. At first, it was like, oh my gosh, but then I looked at how it is going to bless my body, my health, my children's health, my family's health, even the other people's health. When they need something, they'll call me, and I can come out to my garden, go around my land, and just collect the edibles and put something together for them after I ask them questions, you know, about certain things, and they'll come and get their tea.
Yes, that's
And
awesome.
she's a pro at making teas right here. Let me step back.
I'm
Let-
trying to be a
let me
pro.
step
I'm
back.
trying.
Point to it. 'Cause
Okay. Now this beautiful weed here is ragweed, and a lot of people say, "Oh, ragweed is giving me messing with my allergies."
They do.
And ragweed actually blesses your allergies. It can be used as an emollient. It can be used as a fever reducer. And I have a friend that told me what she did with her ragweed. They had the allergies, so she made a tincture, a ragweed tincture. I just cannot talk right now. And it helped their allergies.
Yeah.
And it helped her sinus issues. And the more that she took it, the more she wasn't as sensitive to all of the allergens in the air, because the ragweed is what blessed her with that. And so you can use it as an antiseptic. That means if you have issues with your mouth, you can use it as an antiseptic on your arms, you know, bug bites or any type of skin irritations. You can use ragweed. So don't throw ragweed to the curb. You look at it and you just think, okay, that's my issue right there, but it's not. That's why you all do your research.
Right, that's right.
Do your research, and don't try to go and find some negative research just to say, just because you don't want to.
That's true, because you know you got to consider your sources.
Yes.
I've told people, if you want to know if beef is good for you or not good for you, I mean, if you ask the beef people, you know what you're going to get.
Right.
Or if you want to know, find some good, find several reputable sources that
Yes.
make sense. We are in Tennessee, so that might make a difference if people want to know as far as these plants go. Yes.
And a lot of times they can be wherever you are. Sometimes you'll be surprised what is native to your state. You just, right now, this video is just an eye opener. Because sometimes when you talk about things and people look at stuff like this every day and they're like, oh no, I don't know what that is.
Right.
And then you show a picture of it and you're like, oh my gosh, that's in my backyard. That's what I
Right.
keep chopping down. And you know,
right.
and I was one of them.
And for purposes of
I was
knowing
one of
that,
them.
this is today, right now is the last day of May 2020 in Tennessee. So if you need to know, what's as far as that. All right, great. Thanks.
Chickweed. It's one of the first spring edibles, and a lot of people just like to use it in salads, fresh. I think it's best to use it fresh because you get all the benefits of it fresh. I think some herbs are just better fresh, but surprisingly or interesting to me is chickweed. It actually helps with weight loss. It's good for skin issues, and I don't know if we'll be able to see it on here, but one way there's a look-alike called mouse ear chickweed, and I'm trying to see, but one of the identifiers of chickweed is on one side of the stem. It has a line of fine hairs, and I don't have my glasses on,
And that's
so
the
I
kind
can't
you
see.
consume.
Right? Yes.
Is the other poisonous?
And the other, no, it's not. It just doesn't, that I know of, it just doesn't have the same properties. And this is another thing, when you split it like that, you see that?
Yes.
So that's an identifier too.
Got that little, kind of reminds me of honeysuckle.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like, you know, I always recommend a good field guide or a good app to have on hand to help you identify things, because
Yes.
and know at least several characteristics that'll help you distinguish, because some herbs may have very similar characteristics, but one may be good for medicine and one may not.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind. It may not necessarily be toxic or poisonous, but it just might not be good for medicine.
Yep.
So
Absolutely. There it is,
So,
a
yeah,
chickweed. And
that's
chickweed is good for
sweet little
constipation.
chickweed. Oh yes, that's the other
Constipation, lung issues,
Mhm.
your bowels.
thing. Yeah. Right.
Chickweed is another diverse edible weed.
I mean, we just walked
So
on
eating
it.
fresh is the best.
Eating fresh is the best.
I-
Oh, I like
yeah, I
that.
think-
Eating fresh is the best.
Well, I mean, that's
There
what she
you go.
said about the chickweed.
It's
Yeah.
a t-shirt.
That's just my personal opinion, because some herbs, especially if you're using them for your digestive system, I just feel like it's better to consume them fresh, because you get more of the medicine. I feel like, you know, I mean, yeah, in teas there's some constituents in herbs that just are pulled out better when they're fresh. It goes the same with tincturing or tea. Some herbs are better to be tinctured, and some herbs are better dried or as teas. So it really helps to know those things too. But
This
you
is
know, it
overwhelming
can be-
to a new person. I mean, so I'm thinking they try to learn how to deal with one, maybe dandelion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Learn what you can do with the root. Learn what you can do with the leaves.
Yes.
Learn, you know, and then go to the next one. Like
Right.
you're learning anything.
And that's what I did. I
Yeah.
took my time, and once, you know, it's something, especially if you want to get into, if you're drawn into this, and for those who aren't but just kind of want to know, take it one step at a time, but keep it going. Don't just
Right.
stop and, you know, let it overwhelm you. I had to I think I studied like 4 herbs in 1 month. I did something
makes
every
sense.
single
Yeah.
week. So I kept my attention on 1 herb per week. And the amazing benefits that I found out with those herbs, I mean, you wanted more. And then, you know, at what is it, 14 days or 21 days, you create a
21.
habit.
Oh yeah,
21
days,
Yeah.
and after before you know, 21 days was passed, and then it was a habit,
Right.
and then
Yes.
I started getting into books, and then I just came out and just started foraging in my own yard and looking up things, and thank God for those apps now, because when you take
Right.
a picture
Yeah,
of it,
that's right.
Yeah.
it's telling you what it is now.
Exactly.
See, that wasn't back in our day, you know.
No, it wasn't.
I'm so glad it's now.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Katie, about overwhelm, because you know there's so many herbs, right? I mean, and
Yes.
and I heard an herbalist say, you never stop learning.
Oh, I'm
right?
sure.
And so I agree with Tiffany, and that's kind of how I learn herbs too. I'll just take a few at a time. I get sidetracked sometimes. I take a few at a time, but one thing I really recommend people do is to just use the herbs that are literally at your feet. Chickweed, dandelion, right? Because all those cool herbs, the astragalus and the reishi mushrooms, you know, they're all cool and popular and trendy. But you know what? I can't walk out in my yard and get reishi mushroom. I can't walk out and get astragalus.
Right.
So another thing, and this is just my opinion, excuse me, I feel like wherever you are, wherever you live, the herbs that grow around you are the herbs
It's what you need.
You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
I
It's
really
what
do
you need.
believe that. And
It makes sense.
take
I love
advantage
that.
of the ones that
Yep.
grow around you, because I feel like that's God telling you this is what you
Yeah,
need.
That's
right
I
now.
love that.
Absolutely.
So-
And when they grow in abundance.
Exactly.
When things grow in abundance, you think you're supposed to kill them in abundance. No. When they grow in abundance, that means that it is harvest season.
Yeah.
That is what you need. God gives us what we need. But sometimes we just don't want to
No, well,
connect with that. You know, we don't know that. So this is just a pointer. Connect with that. So
that makes
that,
sense.
so that it will bless you.
All right, so for the last 5 or so minutes, ladies, I'm going to just put some pictures up that you're going to text me, right? You're going to
Yes.
text me some pictures.
Yes.
And we're just going to let those pictures play, and you guys out there can ask questions to these ladies. Thank you so much, Pat and Sis, for being here.
You are so
No, for being here. We're here.
You're so welcome.
We're here at your house.
I
So
know.
thank you for being here.
But I'm
oh,
grateful
my
that
stars.
she's here.
Thank you so much.
I am
Thank
so
you
grateful
so
that
much.
she is here.
So we're going to
Absolutely.
say bye, but this is going to play about 5 or so more minutes and let them answer some questions kind of live-ish. Thanks for being here, y'all.
Bye. Bye.